So Nisha, what small fuzzy animal do you think would be most capable of biting a man's nutsack off?
Definitely koala bear.
Why a koala bear?
Because they look so cute and you just want to cuddle them, but they have a really ferocious
There you
bite.
go. That's how they get in. Done. Sorted. The Wolverine is a creature endemic to North America, amongst some other places, known for its short, stocky build, powerful jaws, and tenacity. Known for its hunting prowess and ferocity, the Wolverine will quite literally fight anything that comes across its path, because, to put it simply, it does not give one singular fuzzy fuck. It's got to be a fuzzy fuck, hasn't it? The fuzziest of fucks.
The fuzzy fuck.
The fuzzy. You don't give a single Wolverine fuzzy fuck.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's like Ducky Fuzz, isn't it?
Oh,
You ever played that game, Ducky Fuzz?
Yeah.
People don't know what we're talking about. It's a drinking game for you Americans, because I think it's not a thing they do. It's a fuzzy duck, Ducky Fuzz, does it. Can we play it? Can we play a game right now? Do you know the rules? Do you remember the rules?
I've never actually played it. I think I've heard you talk about it.
Okay, so what the rule is, it works better with more than two people. I wish if there was someone else sat on the sofa, it would work so well, because Ducky Fuzz coming off it. So I say fuzzy duck, and you say fuzzy duck, but if one of us says does he, you have to say Ducky Fuzz. Are you ready?
Okay.
And if I say Ducky Fuzz and I say does he, you say fuzzy duck. Ready?
Oh God, I'm confused.
It's very simple. Fuzzy duck, right, so fuzzy duck.
Fuzzy duck.
Fuzzy duck.
Fuzzy duck.
Does he?
Ducky fuzz.
Ducky Fuzz.
Does he?
Fuzzy duck.
Fuzzy duck.
Ducky Fuzz.
Does he?
No, this works better with three people. With three people, you've got to switch directions, and then what you end up saying is fuck he does. Or does he fuck? And it's like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, people at home have got more than one friend in around them today. Try playing that game, it's fun. We fucked it up, but yeah.
We have no friends.
We have, but they're all at work. And to be fair, we're working too, so we should probably do that. That'd be a good idea for a focus. Drinking games.
So what is a Wolverine? Because they look like just tiny bears.
Yeah, they're kind of nondescript, aren't they? They're just a weird, fuzzy thing. And contrary to that, their bear-like appearance, they're actually a member of the Weasel family. The largest known member of the Weasel family, in fact. And like their less badass genetic cousins, they share the Weasel's, just ferocity and just tenacity when it comes to hunting and just kicking the shit out of other animals. Because Weasels, as much, again, quite adorable little fuzzy creatures, are terrifyingly effective hunters against things at their own size. If they don't pose much of a threat to a person, but stuff their own size or slightly larger, they can fuck it up. And have you ever heard of the Weasel War Dance?
No, but this sounds amazing.
So the Weasel War Dance is a very strange behaviour affected by weasels where they just completely flip their shit and start jumping around doing backflips. And no one is really quite sure why they do it. But a theory is they use it to hunt rabbits and hares, which are very skittish creatures that will react to anything. They'll bolt, and you're never going to catch a rabbit or a hare by chasing it down. So scientists believe that weasels will do this war dance, this leaping around, backflipping, basically dancing their fucking asses off to confuse rabbits, who have been observed when weasels are doing this, standing stock still, just being unable to comprehend how hard they are being served at that particular moment. And sometimes, and this is fucking true, the rabbits will get served so hard by the weasel's sick dance moves, they will just straight up fucking die.
So how does that happen? How do rabbits die from basically just watching a dance?
Well, rabbits are very, very nervous creatures, and they are particularly fearful of weasels, so much so that simply smelling the scent of a weasel is sometimes enough to make a rabbit have a heart attack. And what happens is, this is adorably depressing, is the rabbit, when it senses the weasel, will freeze up, and then about 20 minutes later, will just fall over dead. And it's believed that this weasel war dance, by throwing itself into the air and doing crazy-ass backflips, it spreads its scent over a wide area.
Yeah.
Basically, just causing this effect to happen in rabbits. And I just think it's amazing that somewhere out there in nature, there is a theory that says weasels sometimes serve rabbits so hard on the dance floor, they die of heart attacks. And moving back to Wolverines, as much as I would love to say they do this too, they don't, because they're much stronger and more powerful than, members of the Weasel family, and they usually hunt just by, stabbing things with their claws or gnawing the face off. And they are quite adorable, though, Wolverines. As much as I'm describing them as being quite scary, they do look really cute when they're not trying to, gnaw the dick off a frozen moose carcass. And they have this really strange, kind of endearing, loping gait as they walk around. So in that vein, Nisha, what animal do you think has the best walk animation of all animals? Because I'm putting it up there that it might be the giant anteater. Because I love when anteaters walk and they have that thing where they continuously move their head from side to side with their giant bushy tail in the background, their weird long paws. It looks great. I've always just been a fan of just watching anteaters walk.
One of my favourite walks from an animal is probably the Jesus lizard, where it does the little booty shake.
Oh, the one that walks on water when it just shakes it twerks so hard, it just defies all known physics and logic. It's by running straight across the water. One that I really like is giraffes. Because giraffes, they look so awkward and gangly, but they are capable of running faster than almost any other animal in the Serengeti just because of how big they are. But as soon as they run, they just turn into the most hilarious creatures on the planet because they just run almost completely stiff, like doo-doo, boo-boo, boo-boo. And then when you see that footage of them attack the lions, trying to attack them in mid-gallop, it's like, why would you do this? And they just like splay out one leg and just kick the lion off into the distance while maintaining full sprint.
I always find the baby giraffes really hilarious because when they can't walk, you just have legs everywhere.
Their legs are so spindly. Like it's Bambi on ice, basically.
Yeah.
When they just try and walk for the first time. Oh, in that vein as well, I'm going to say just any baby animal with long legs.
Yeah.
Like baby deer, baby moose. Baby buffaloes, because they just baby horses, baby cows. When they just because they have to walk within 10 minutes, don't they?
Yeah.
They're born, and within 10 minutes they're running with the herd. For that first 5 minutes, you get the hilarity of just trying to adjust to this new life of land. Oh, that's great. Oh, it's so good. Best walk animation for an animal. I love it. Nothing beats the anteater though. It's the big noses. I love it.
Yeah.
It's that really long nose, and then you just see like the tongue like. It's so great.
Bringing it back to the Wolverine.
Yeah.
What sort of thing does it hunt and eat?
Whatever the fuck it wants. And they have a very, very large area in which they roam, and they call their territory. And they will basically spend hours a day just travelling miles and miles and miles to eat anything they can find, which, as you can imagine, results in them encountering many other creatures that call their habitat its home. And it's noted that the Wolverine has few, if any, predators, with the only things known to actively try and hunt it being grizzly bears and wolves. Even then, it's noted that bears and wolves will generally give Wolverines a wide berth, even if they outnumber it, just because of how fucking batshit crazy it is. Because they completely flip their shit the moment they're, challenged. And wolves and bears know they might not be able to beat the Wolverine even in 1-on-6 combat. So they'll generally leave them alone. And because of this, there are confirmed cases and reports of Wolverines just outright stealing the kills of bears and wolves from under their nose and just walking away.
Wow.
And the bear's like, you know what? You do you, Mr. Wolverine.
Bears are massive.
Yeah, they can weigh up to half a fucking ton sometimes.
And then Wolverines are this big.
Yeah, people can't see Nisha, but she exactly got the size of a Wolverine just right with her hands then.
So stealing the bear's food is a pretty ballsy thing for it to do.
It is, yeah. The bear has way better stats than the Wolverine in every area except for the one that just says balls. Because bears are bigger, stronger, and faster. And despite this, Wolverines will happily go steal their kill, and bears will give them a wide berth. And there's even been confirmed reports of Wolverines hunting bears when they're desperate or hungry enough. And one story tells of a Wolverine jumping onto the back of a grizzly bear so it can bite its ears and scratch its eyes. And the Wolverine didn't win, but the bear came out worse. And for an animal that is a fraction of its size and weight, that is fucking impressive, isn't it?
Because it's quite a stocky animal.
Yes.
Is it quite agile then if it can jump on the back of bears?
Like Wolverines are very fast, they're very strong, and they are almost impossible to hurt via conventional means. So if a bear or a wolf manage to bite one and they only get the skin, that's not really going to bother the Wolverine. The only reliable way bears and wolves have to kill the Wolverine is to crush its skull. But the skull is where its teeth are, and you don't really want to shove your face into the gaping maw of an angry Wolverine. And that's one of the reasons why bears and wolves tend to ignore them. And we should point out that in the cases where the wolves and the bears get pissed off and they square off with Wolverines, Wolverines do tend to lose, but the fact that they will step to an apex predator many times stronger and faster than themselves, I think just speaks to the density and magnitude of their tiny Wolverine balls. So they know they're going to lose, but they do it anyway, because fuck you for being a bear. Fuck you for being in my way, bear. I'm going to claw at your eye. I don't care if you eat me, as long as I get one good hit in. I'm going to go, like the Wolverine, he's like, I'm going to go down fucking swinging. And do you know what this reminds me of? That scene in The Dark Knight Returns.
Is it where Batman fights Superman?
Yeah, and Batman acknowledges, like, Superman, you're going to fucking beat me. You're stronger than me. You are effectively a god. But through superior planning and just being a tenacious asshole, I've got you down to your fucking knees. And he beats the shit out of Superman. And Batman looks Superman in the eye and says, you will always remember the day that me, a lowly human, beat the fucking shit out of you. And then he dies of a heart attack. So he gets the last word. And I'm just imagining the Wolverine does that. Like when the bear just stands up and goes, you got your one good hit in, what do you have to say? Fuck you. And then it just dies of a heart attack. So good. And I love that moment because it's just, Superman could just obliterate Batman from orbit by throwing a satellite on his house or something. But Batman still gets in that one good hit and Superman has to live with that shit. And that's how I imagine the Wolverine justifies it to itself. So I might die, but at least this bear's going to walk around with a scar. That's super embarrassing to talk about. Every time it sees his bear friends, it's like, oh, isn't that your scar you got from a Wolverine? Because you have no idea how strong that Wolverine was. It blindsided me and snuck up on me. Just like Superman's going to have every member of the Justice League from now until eternity saying, oh, Superman, do you remember that time Batman, a guy with no superpowers, nearly fucking killed you in a fist fight?
Oh, that's good. Well, speaking of superheroes,
I
bet a lot of people are wondering, has the creature, the Wolverine, got anything to do with Marvel's Wolverine?
Yes, and the reason that Marvel's Wolverine is called Wolverine is because of the striking resemblance he apparently bears to the creature. Because like the Wolverine, the animal, Wolverine is short, stocky, with claws that can puncture through almost anything, and he doesn't give up and he's a ferocious fighter. Because people might not know this, I guess, if they're only familiar with, Hugh Jackman Wolverine. In the comics, Wolverine is only supposed to be 5'3". He's like this fucking tall. It's adorable.
Aww.
I love it. And one of the reasons he has that nickname is because, like the Wolverine, he's a small, feral creature from North America with claws who doesn't give a fuck. And I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but they are planning on recasting the X-Men for the MCU.
Yeah.
And there's a big push to cast an actor who is short like Wolverine's supposed to be. And have you seen some of the names that have been put forward to play him?
No, but I'm interested.
One of the ones that people are saying is Danny DeVito. And that's obviously a joke, but sticking with the Always Sunny theme, I think Charlie Day is a name a lot of people are throwing around because I think in real life he's quite short.
Why do they never show him as being short in the films?
I don't know. I think it's because Hugh Jackman's like 6'2". I think initially in the film they tried to hide it. And they try to use camera trickery similar to The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies to make Hugh Jackman look shorter. Then they realised nobody gave a fuck and they just stopped doing that. I would really love it if they just went when they bring him into the MCU, just got a really short guy to play Wolverine. Because the jokes write themselves, like people making fun of him. Oh, what do you want short stuff? Just claws fly out of his fist and he stabs him to death. It'd be so good. And that's because I love tiny, adorable Wolverine. I love him in the Marvel vs. Capcom games where, in addition to being one of the shortest members of the cast, he's constantly hunched over like an animal and he fights basically on his hands and fucking knees and you can't stop him. And he's so fast. And one of my favourite moves that he does in one of those games is where he just does the X-Men, where one of his moves, he basically just goes into the air and just goes, and there's a giant X of claw marks appears. And I love that because I heard a commentator once call it the back spasm because he goes into the air and goes, and just as an X flies at him. But I would kill to have some of those moves realised in a movie and just have a tiny, short man with claws hunched up on the floor. And people are like, the fuck is this? As he just tears them to pieces with his, his adamantium claws.
So obviously people who read the comics would know
they know how short he is.
Would get how short he is, really, but people who just see him in the films would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why is he so short? Because he's supposed to be a feral creature. That's why he's called Wolverine. And there's some really great moments he shows, but he's got the berserker rage that he does, where he basically says, you know what? Fuck this. Animal instinct time, let's go. And he basically goes Kaioken, and he just goes, blah, and just explodes. And I want to see that in a film. Because Hugh Jackman kind of does it.
Yeah.
When he screams, and we've talked before about the greatest moment in Logan, is where you just see the guys in the woods, and you hear from about a mile away, just the roar, and you look, and Hugh Jackman has got so far to run. And everybody he's about to kill has so much time to react, and they don't do anything. because they just don't know how to handle it. And as fun as that is, I want more cartoony bullshit like they do in X-Men 3, where he just jumps like 30 feet through the air and stabs the guy to the tree.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to see a Marvel vs. Capcom combo in live action. Is that so much to ask? Getting back to Wolverines, the animal, the creature, as noted, is known to range for many dozens of miles while hunting for prey, and due to its highly acute sense of smell, can track an animal via its farts for many miles. And once it has your scent, there's almost nothing that can stop it from getting to you, because the Wolverine will stop at nothing to find its prey once it has its scent. And it's noted that the animal will quite happily stab its way through several feet of frozen dirt to find something hiding below it, or punch apart a tree. And if that's not an image that terrifies the shit out of you, congratulations on being the first honey badger to use the internet. To lead on from a conversation we had a bit earlier, what's something from a cartoon or a video game you'd want to most see realised in live action? Because I said earlier, I want to see the MCU version of Wolverine do a combo from Ultimate Marvel and just end it with just the X-Men, just like fly this giant sex X out of his chest. But is there anything like you've watched as a kid that you think, I want to see that live action? I want to see Marvel money thrown behind this to see how cool it would look.
I was a big fan of watching cartoons, obviously from Cartoon Network.
Obviously, as everyone is, great channel.
And I just love to see the ridiculous scenes from those shows realised. Like, for example, in the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh man, I would 100% be on board for a live action Powerpuff Girls movie.
It's like, just imagine seeing like a real Mojo Jojo.
Oh man, Mojo Jojo, it has to be Andy Serkis though. Yeah. Andy Serkis just playing Mojo Jojo.
Oh, it'd be so good. And from shows like Dexter's Lab.
Oh, the thing is that if you're going to do live action Powerpuff Girls, there's only one thing: you have to get Christina Hendricks, the lady who's known for being a redhead with ginormous world-destroying breasts, to play Miss Bellum. It's Miss Bellum, isn't it? The girl you never see from the... They need to get that joke going. And Danny DeVito has to play the mayor.
I was going to say...
Danny DeVito as the mayor.
Really short mayor.
Just constantly flanked by this just ginormous set of breasts at all times.
You've got is it like the devil character called Him?
No, that's the one you can't realise because that would terrify the children.
And you just hear his voice or something, this disembodied voice.
Oh man, that guy's terrifying. But yeah, if you're going to talk about Dexter's Lab, there's only one moment I'd want to see realised, in a live action big budget movie, and that would be the episode where him and Mandark make George Washington and Abraham Lincoln fight each other the statues from Mount Rushmore, and he gives Abraham Lincoln a rocket top hat and George Washington has metal teeth. Because then it'd just be Pacific Rim, but it's George Washington fighting bloody Abraham Lincoln. That shit was so good.
Mandark was one of my favourite characters, especially that episode that was just him. And he always did everything in the same... when he did that certain laugh, didn't he?
Yeah, I can't do his laugh, but it is embedded in my brain.
There was a certain episode where he did everything in that sort of rhythm. His laugh was
Isn't it ah ha ha, ah ha ha?
Yeah, it's ah ha ha, ah ha ha. So then he'd be eating his food and he'd go chew to chew, chew to chew to chew.
That would be amazing. Oh man. Because what I want is, mine's more video game based. I just want to see combos from video games. There's so much cool stuff that characters do in video games that they don't do in the live action. I thought Wolverine in Ultimate Marvel, he is the closest he's ever been to a wild fucking animal, where he's flying across the screen at 100 miles an hour. He's propelling himself through the air while just doing 900 stab combos. And recently, spoilers for anyone who's not seen Endgame, but the Russos confirmed, I think maybe in a joking way, maybe seriously, that Nova is in the background of the final fight scene. Just randomly, if you look in the background, just Nova's there. The Nova Corps, for anyone who doesn't remember, it's the guys in Guardians of the Galaxy. But specifically, they pointed out that Richard Rider, who's a Centurion of the Nova Corps, is there. And I think the lore behind that is he's as powerful as 100 Nova Corps members at once. But the only reason I want him in is because, one, he's called Richard Rider, so his name is Dick Rider, which is fucking amazing. And two, in Ultimate Marvel, which is the first time I've ever seen him, he just has the most hilarious moveset possible, because all he does, he just shouts Centurion before he does anything. It's like Centurion Arc, Centurion Punch, Rocket Punch, and he's such an asshole, it's great. And I just want to see him do the Centurion Punch all the time to everybody in the world. And again, in the same vein, again in Ultimate Marvel, that's when they introduced Rocket Raccoon. And this is before Guardians of the Galaxy came out and anyone knew who the fuck he was. And in that game, he has the ability to just bury a large trap in the ground that goes boing, and that's it. And he has just like a really straight, he has like a Cockney accent. He's got a British accent, and I get annoyed every time I hear the Rocket Raccoon in the live action films, and it's not that guy. Because in my head, Rocket Raccoon is that guy, and he's got rocket skates. He's like, rocket skates, rocket skates. He's got like giant fucking miniguns. I want that guy.